Hello class, this is the second video lesson on Chinese music. So in this lesson I'd like to cover the musical types of traditional Chinese music and some elements in Chinese music as well. So now traditional Chinese music has many different types. You have folk songs, you have the Chinese opera, the wayang, the Chinese orchestra, and the music for ceremonies and rituals. Now, traditional music and folk songs of China serve as forms of historical records of ancient China. What happens in ancient China, you can usually trace by looking at the type of musical instruments that they use, as well as the type of music. Now, ceremonies and rituals also play an important part in ancient Chinese history, and many of this is associated with ancestral worship. In Singapore, for example, Chinese music is still used in funerals up to today. Now, one form I'd like to highlight to you is the Chinese opera, the Chinese wayang. Now, in Singapore, these types of wayang are performed by family groups. Okay, they set up their stage in the streets and they will perform, and people will come and view their performance. Now, one interesting feature of the opera or the wayang is the use of falsetto voice. Now, falsetto voice is a very high-pitched voice, and usually these voices are accompanied by the flute or the erhu, and sometimes they have dance as well as they will act out the scene during the wayang. Okay, let's have a look at some of these musical types. Now, this is the Chinese Cantonese opera. Let's look at the opera comedy. Look at the gestures and the hand movements of the performer. Usually it's very animated to show you what kind of emotions they want to portray in the scene. In the 1940s and 50s, the Chinese opera, in particular the Cantonese opera, was a popular form of entertainment for the rich and the poor. You can hear the erhu accompanying at the back. Okay. So that is an example of the Chinese wayang, as well as the music that is heard at the back.